xenophobia and the foreigner concept in Asia
Mm-hmm.
being different than in the US, for example. So,
Mm.
like, xenophobia, I don't really know what the difference is between that and, like, I guess racism towards people that aren't your own race. Like, is that really what xenophobia means? I don't know. But that's, for example, a term that's like commonly used to describe Japan,
Mm.
unfortunately.
Mm.
And I think a lot of East Asian countries,
Mm.
because again, we're all like homogenous back there. It is kind of interesting that, like, because these countries are dominated by mostly one homogenous like group of people,
Mm.
they view everyone else as the term foreigner, which is like from a US perspective, like kind of offensive, but like it's not coming with any like baggage or anything necessarily from these Asian countries. But like literally when you land, for example, and you go to passport, like the passport stamping, it's like,
Foreigner.
yeah, it's like foreigner line and like, you know, country that it is line. It's weird because it's kind of like if you're not born of their blood, you are deemed a foreigner, and it doesn't really matter what race you are. So like we're foreigners to people in Korea, we're foreigners
Mm-hmm.
to people in China, even though we're like Chinese,
Yeah.
you know. And there are discriminatory laws and social things that try to keep foreigners out or make it very difficult for them to become permanent residents or citizens, things like that. So like on Reddit, but I also did hear this from like legit people that I met in Korea. Like I met some white people that have like lived there for like 15 years and have like spouses in Korea and stuff, and they're like, it's been a nightmare trying to like live here and like integrate, because there are all these laws making it so difficult for you to like submit the right paperwork and like prove this thing, and like it's not enough to be married, you have to like do all these other things to like prove why you should be here. And then in Reddit, I was reading people, because Japan is notorious for trying to like keep everyone out who's
Mm-mm.
not Japanese. Someone posted this stat that I don't know what the most recent stat was, but they were basically like Japan is one of the countries that accepts like the least number of immigrants around the world like every year.
Mm.
Like one year it was like 16 immigrants
Oh
the
my
entire
gosh,
year.
that
So,
is so
yeah, they
strict.
like literally don't take anyone. And yeah, someone posted, they were like, yeah, I've lived here for in Japan for like 15, 20 years or something. And he's like, foreigners are literally required by law to carry their like foreigner resident card
Mm.
with them, and can be fined like a bunch of money if a police officer stops you and you don't have your card on
Wow.
you, and you are just like randomly stopped all the time to like show your resident card thing. It's like a very specific context, I think, compared to like the US. It's just like it feels like racism, but it's also this like whole different thing because the other people are the ones coming into these like super homogenized societies,
Yeah.
and I don't know.
I remember a couple of years ago when I went to a friend's wedding, the groom is Taiwanese and one of his cousins was there. And she's Taiwanese, so she from Taiwan. So she's like she'd been working from Japan for like a year and she's like, I hate it. Like I am always treated like an outsider, like people don't like listen to the things that I have to say. And yeah, it's not racism in the sense I think like exactly what you're saying. It's not racism in the sense that it is in the US where there have been multiple different ethnic groups living there for a while. But in a sense it still is because there's like a group of people that are keeping a group of people out just based off of the fact that they are not a specific ethnic appearance and background.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of actually watching like TikToks and whatever of people who live abroad who are like foreigners. Japan is notorious, but it has happened apparently in like Hong Kong and
Mm,
other places too. Is
yeah.
like on public transportation, for example, people will get up if like a foreigner sits next to them, or like someone talked about how they were like it was like a packed subway train in Japan, like literally like butt to butt, people like standing, and she was sitting down and there was an empty seat next to her and literally nobody would sit down next to her because she was a foreigner, which is like just like crazy stuff
Yeah.
because it feels like very segregation-y, flashing back to like 360s time for us. So really interesting.